What's up, mobile gamers? It's Drons or Gigs back here with another video, and this time we've got some Mech Arena. I just wanted to show you guys kind of my setup. These are my favorite mechs here in the game. I am an MD main, so very rare for anybody to even play MD. I've invested a lot of my resources into him, but this is Mech Arena. You have obviously mechs and you fight with them in battles and stuff like that. Each mech has its own ability, and there's also different weapon classes and different mech types and stuff like that. So you've got attacker mechs is one role, then you have scout mechs. Scroll down here, you have tank mechs, and you'll see the new Bastion mech is right there on the right. And you scroll down again and you've got support mechs, and you can see that I actually main support mechs. Almost all of my mechs are pretty high, and a lot of you might be like, oh my god, all his stuff's pink, how does he even do that? And the answer is that I've been playing since day one, so a lot of grinding. I will admit to spending money every once in a while. I'm a pocket change player, but I am not a whale. And then we'll go over to the weapons. You have different classes in the weapons as well. Some of them are better at different things. Some of them excel in different areas. This is the assault category, and I would say this is probably the worst category because of how low level they are. They just don't do a lot of damage. They're just falling out of the meta. They're better for the lower levels for sure, and maybe mid game, but I wouldn't waste your money and your resources also, because you do have resources. I wouldn't do that on these guns. They're not really worth the price or the effort. The missile racks are the only thing that is really good in this category. I've seen a lot of people say they like the Voltaic RPGs, but I am not a fan. And you don't really use missile racks in the later stages of the game either. The missile rack 12 and 8 are somewhat viable, but they do cost a lot, as you'll see here. 950 to get it up to 4-star. That's a decent amount of A coins. I know I have 1400 here in the top. That's how much I have saved up, but I'm saving that up for one of my mechs I'm trying to upgrade, and that might end up being Bastion actually. Then you have the beam weapons. We're just going to go straight over those. They're the worst in the game. I wouldn't even recommend trying them. You could try a graviton beam if you got your hands on one, but that's not worth it. The close quarters are your bread and butter. These are the best guns in the game for close quarters, obviously. Sometimes mid-range, actually, if you can get some implants. But the shotgun 8s are definitely something I would rock all the time. The arc turrets, I would make sure you have a mech with arc turrets and shotguns. Then you have some of your snipers in the sniper category. The EM rifles are pretty much the only ones you want to use if you're able to. You could use the long arms if you aren't really the type of person to spend 20 or 30 bucks here and there, because that is how much the EM rifles would cost you if you want like a 3-star variant or anything like that. The railgun is not bad. I wouldn't say it's terrible. I'd say it's definitely outclassed by the EM rifles, but it's also outclassing the long arms, and then obviously Gauss rifles are just not even something you want to use. Guided, we're going to go over these guys a little bit. There's not too much to go over. They're really good early and mid game, and then they kind of fall off. You can still use the Jav 8s. The Jav 8s are not terrible. The disc launchers is where it's at, though. The disc launchers are super good. I think that if you're going to spend your resources on anything, you get all 3 disc launchers as early as you can. And if they are like $7 or $8 or even 13, and you're like, I don't know if I want to do it, then you definitely need to do it. The only other class, there's technically 2, or 3, I guess, but these guys aren't really out yet. The heavy duty and the barrage, you have to spend money in order to get those. That's pay to win. Sort of, actually, because they're not, I wouldn't say either of them are any good. Like, you don't even need them, so you don't even really need to waste your money on them. But like, if you were to buy them and do good with them, then they'd be pay to win. This game does have a lot of pay to win aspects in it. The rocket mortars are part of the artillery. They're the only artillery weapon. And this is going to upset a lot of people, but I do not run rocket mortars ever at all under any circumstances unless I have a challenge with them. They're not really my playstyle. I hate sitting in the back of the map and hitting a button every 18 seconds with their reload time. A lot of people will say that they hate them as well, but then they also run them. So it's not necessarily hypocritical because they are the best gun in the game, but they just aren't my playstyle. I'll just be honest with you guys. They're not very fun. They did add pilots. I have all gold pilots, like I said, since I've been playing since day one. You can get pilots. I don't have one on him, actually. I'll put a pilot on him real quick for you guys. There you go. Now, I do have gold pilots, but that is because, you know, they're only like 30 bucks. And before T3 Arena, I haven't really been spending my money on anything else except for Mech Arena and then obviously like rent and stuff. You know, I am in college, so I pay tuition and that kind of thing. So most of my money will go to that. But if I have a few extra bucks, it'll go into Mech Arena. Now T3 obviously is what I do. But we've got the new mech Bastion, and I absolutely had to get him, especially as a content creator. He is pretty much insane. He's one of the best mechs in the game. The only mech that I would say even comes close is Orion right here, and that's because his ability marks the target and it does extra damage, which is very, very good in every situation. But this here is a tank. Now, I don't usually play tanks, but he is kind of like almost a jack of all trades, but he does have like a lot of tank attributes. He has got the most health in the game. His ability is a shield, which is always good. He has about the same speed as Ares, which is the best tank in the game would be Ares. And then once you put Bastion in, he's the best tank. So Bastion is absolutely one of the best mechs in the game, if not the best. His ability is Blast Shield. So he has the ability that activates a ring shield around the mech to absorb damage. Obviously, shields are really good in this game. You gotta have at least one mech with a shield. I usually personally run Aegis. But let's see here. If you guys look here, he is... When the shield HP hits 0, it releases a spherical explosion that deals damage and applies an EMP debuff to enemy mechs within the radius. So not only does he have the highest health in the game, and probably the best shield, honestly, besides Aegis, which is even situational because it has a cooldown on it, whereas this one goes away with damage. The abilities that he has, he also, when it gets broken, because you're always going to be in close quarters as a tank, when the shield gets broken, it does damage and applies a debuff of EMP. So he is Zephyr, Tengu, and Ares all rolled into one with the best HP in the game, and honestly, the best stock design that we've ever seen. Like, this skin is super cool on its own. I don't even think I would rock a legendary skin if I had the money to buy one, because this is just so cool. It's got that RoboCop Terminator vibe to it, especially on like the visor or the cockpit or whatever you want to call that. I really like the fins or spikes that are coming out of him at the top. Those are really cool. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna pull for him. He is $100 mech, so you know, just letting you guys know, it's $100 that we're spending here. I am not a Mech Arena content partner, so I don't get any free stuff from them, but I just wanted to show you guys how insane this mech is. And once we're done pulling for him and everything and getting all the resources, we will cut to the gameplay and that kind of thing. Probably do a match or two with him just to show you guys how insane he is. I don't really mind getting credits and stuff like that because I did spend $100. I might as well get all the resources, but we're kind of only hoping for the mech. If I were to spin and have some credits left over, I would probably keep any of these crate rush tokens that you can. So if we skip over some credits, that's totally fine. We really just want the mech. Those are some nice legendary blueprints for him. Again, his name's Bastion. He's just crazy, crazy good. There's not much to this. A lot of people try to speed things up, but I enjoy talking to you guys. Hopefully we can get some more viewers going. This is just kind of the boring part, you know, that's how it goes. You're spinning for it, and since I pretty much bought out the whole event to make sure I'd get the mech guaranteed, you're not going to see me freaking out like, oh my god, I got Bastion, because I'm already prepared to get everything that's in this crate rush. So there, nope, just kidding. We got 25,000 credits. So that's the reason I would say if you're going to go big, then you should go all the way. You should just buy out the whole event. You might as well. Spending a couple $20 or so for a spin is just not really worth it. I mean, you could get the mech. I would wait, and you know, you'll get him for like 3-star, 4-star, depending on how high you are. They do offer these mechs later on that you can just outright buy the mech, but it'll be at a lower level. So if you see here, he's at 3-star when we get him, but you also get resources and A-coins and blueprints and stuff like that so that you can upgrade the mech when you first get him. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to keep pulling here. I probably could have sped this up, but I'm not going to. I want you guys to see how this works, how this goes, what you'd get when you are spinning. So you can see we're pretty unlucky. We still haven't got the mech in any of our spins. So that's, as you guys can see, that might happen. So that's why I recommend if you're going to buy a bunch of tokens, you might as well buy out as many as you need so that you're guaranteed to get the mech and have him at a high state. As I was saying before about the 3-star thing, he will be offered a couple months from now at 3-star, maybe, but then again, it's going to be like a $50 to $60 mech to get him at 3-star anyway. So for me personally, it's just better to spend the money and make sure that I get the mech and that I can upgrade him and stuff like that. Now, every time you upgrade a mech in any way, shape, or form, you always get mech level kits or, like you see here, upgrade packs. Just go ahead and disregard those unless you've got, you know, super deep pockets or anything like that. We are gonna put him in for Cheetah. I really like Cheetah, but I think that his weapons are gonna work better for Bastion anyway. So we're gonna put him in Cheetah's slot here. And it turns out I don't know how to read because obviously he'd be up at the top because of his lower energy capacity. But there he is, 3-star. We're gonna put probably some 6s on him, I think, for the arc turret 6s, just because I like arc turrets. And then we're gonna pop our pilot back on here. All right, so we'll cut to the gameplay in just a sec. That's Bastion. That's Mech Arena. You guys can definitely friend me if you want. Let me grab my code here. Go ahead and friend me. That's my ID right there in the center, right below my name. It says my top mech is Stalker, but I really don't think that's the case. He does have rocket mortars on him for a challenge I'm doing to get his legendary skin. I would say that my favorite mech is MD again. So the disc launcher's on him, gold pilot on him. He heals people. He's that support role that everybody knows I like to play. So there is Bastion. There's a quick look at Mech Arena if you guys haven't seen it already. And we'll see you guys later when we look at the gameplay. Alright, we are loading into a battle real quick. I am going to play some 2v2 so I can show you guys how Bastion plays. Looks like we got all players, which is probably not good, but we're gonna go ahead and go with it. Now, I did upgrade my Bastion just a tiny bit. He is now 4-star. So more than likely we're going to lose this game because I do not play tanks very often. So this is Bastion's ability. It is a mobile shield. And it already broke, so it looks like I can't show you what it does, but normally when it breaks... see if we can't help out. There we go. So when the shield breaks, looks like that's a surge, pretty common mech. When the shield breaks, it dissipates and gives an EMP blast that lasts for a few seconds, or maybe even just 1 second, but we're gonna go ahead and try to get over here. We got him. We're gonna probably, yep, we died. Alright, but when the shield breaks, you got that EMP, which is pretty good, and then it also does damage, which I think is probably one of the better parts of it. So we're gonna go ahead and run our Lancer here. It looks like our buddy here has a Bastion as well. He's got some disc launchers on him. That is also pretty common. I personally don't have disc launchers on my Bastion because my disc launchers are not very leveled. But I will say I like my Lancer a lot, so we're going to try and see if we can't watch him a little bit. So he's got disc launchers, and he's facing another mech with disc launchers, which is unfortunate. That net won't protect him from my javelins. He's going to come up on me here. Alright. And so the good thing about disc launchers is that... oh, and he's got the new grenade launcher there, which is pretty cool. I've heard that it's not very good though, so we'll sneak up on him. It looks like he's a cheetah and we're probably dead because I'm an idiot. Alright. See if we can't win this round. Almost got that cheetah. Alright. So, again, we'll spawn in Bastion for you guys. The shield is definitely the best part of his kit. He has a lot of health, and when the shield explodes, that damage does a good amount. Looks like they're running a surge. So we're going to back up here. Whenever you guys see a surge or a Zephyr, you need to make sure that you stay not only far away from it, but away from your teammate. That way you guys can back each other up when he does his little dash. And that is another surge. So if you'll notice, our teammate is running javelins. Oop. Yep, alright. And that is a kill shot with javelins. See if we can't. We're going to spawn in our javelins. Yep, and we unfortunately can't get a lock on those surges because of... Yep, he's probably going to get us this time. Alright. This is a tough one, you guys, for sure. And we're going to spawn in our cheetah and see if we can't help out our teammate here. I like to reload my shotguns each time. So I think Bastion is really good. His EMP does seem like it doesn't do as much as it did before. And he is running long arms on a Zephyr. And without the lag, we probably would have gotten him a lot faster. Yep, and it looks like we'll see if he runs into any of our cheetah bombs. And I think I've only got, yep, I've only got my stalker left, so we're gonna have to rely on our teammate here to pull these last couple of seconds. See if we can't get some, I don't like rocket mortars, to get some damage on him. And it looks like we won the round. So, that's a game of Bastion real quick. Sorry it wasn't longer. He's not that good when he's lower level, and I personally am not good with tanks. But, so there he is. That is Bastion. He's a pretty fun mech, especially if you like tanks, and I think he's probably the best mech out of all the tank mechs. He's definitely the top dog. So, there it is. You guys have a good day. Hopefully you like the Mech Arena content, and check out my T3 Arena content on the channel as well.